So it's been a while. Since my last video, there was a big event organized by Reddit. It was called r/place and it took place on 1st of April for April Fools. Main point of it is that you had a 1000 by 1000 canvas and you could just take a pixel and place it in your desired spot. It would create like something like a war between some factions, alliances, subreddits and streamers.
Attack the outlines! Burn it! Consume! They want to battle the battle!
One day when I was in school, I thought about this and I came to a conclusion. That's an amazing idea to make it in Minecraft. Okay, so honestly, how it started. It was 7th of April and I was on one of my school breaks. I was sitting on the floor and I was just thinking about, making something for YouTube because it's good if I create something. And then I spent all that break to just think about how it will work. And here's how it works. The entire system will be split into two parts, client and server. Let's talk about server first. Server would have a database and all publicly available API. On the other hand, client would have just a Minecraft server which would be connected to that server of mine. And client is a thing that you're playing, so when you join the server, it just gets information from my API about state of all pixels. And then they come back to our server and it just updates. Pretty cool, but how can you even change pixels? It would work like this. You take a stone and you just place it. Then you will have this cool menu where you can choose one of 16 colors, which is all colors that are available in Minecraft, and then it will just send a packet to the server to update it. And it will also put you on a cooldown. So day one. Day one was pretty simple. I had to choose between two frameworks, Flask and Django, and Flask is extremely easy. So I always use Flask in all of my projects, like Tainted Cane project or my Nuzlocke project. So I just went with Django to, try it, because there is bigger chance that some project would be built with Django. For example, I think Spotify is built with Django. So I went with Django and it was extremely good idea because when Django just, has all of the support for databases, some cool models, views, Flask is basically, just render a page from HTML and maybe change some things in there and handle requests. So on the first day I read all of the tutorials that were available to read. I mean, all that I needed to read, and it took me around half an hour or something like this, and after this I was able to create this site. It wasn't much, but it was enough for me to, just feel comfortable with Django itself. So first thing I created from that point was basic API. I created endpoint called add. If you don't know what endpoint is, like when you visit any site, for example, you go to tk.kane.live, then if you go to DevTools, so Ctrl-Shift-C, and you choose network, and you reload the page, you will be able to see all of the things it gets from the server. For example, HTML page, some images, for example, if a page uses Google Analytics, then it just takes some things from that, and it sends a GET request. And as you may guess, GET requests basically get stuff from the internet. And there's also another request type called post. And post is basically like, hey server, I have some information for you, hey, send me it. And your client or whoever sends that request sends some data to the server, so it can just, process it. And it mostly doesn't return anything, and it's more like considered updating something, or as it says, posting something. So I chose post and I made an add request. So you can supply some data like color, position of the pixel, and who modified it. And it will just, return that it have been created. And when you go to our canvas, it should be updated, instantly. So I also on the first day created an get for 1 pixel. So you can just say, I want to get a pixel from position 0 and position 10. And it will just check which pixel has those attributes and just return it to me. And this was basically the end of day 1. On the second day I created another endpoint called getAllPixels. I don't think I need to explain what it does. And with that I could create my first plugin. It takes data from the server every 30 ticks, which stands for 1.5 of a second, and updates all pixels on the canvas one by one. Then I also added a possibility to edit blocks, because it's good when I can actually do any changes to the canvas. You will need a stone block and you will need to place it over a block that you wish to edit. Then it will open you this amazing GUI with all colors to choose. After you click your desired color, it will send an add request that I mentioned earlier to the server to make the change for everyone who is currently playing this event. After doing all of these things, it was finally working. It wasn't all I wished to add, but for the second day of work, it was something, okay? So I can take a stone and place it here. And it says success. But if I try to place it again, it will return me time in ticks. That's a big progress. So, after I finished base code, I went and implemented some quality of life changes. The first thing I decided to add was a cooldown timer on the action bar. Cooldown timer is only client side, because if you would remove it, cooldown would still work. After that, my friend DM'd me. Magenta is actually Agenta. Wait, what? Yeah, I had to fix it too. Then the project was almost done, but I had to optimize one thing. So far my plugin fetched all pixels every 30 ticks. All pixels. Which means it takes around 4 megabytes every 3 seconds. Which adds up pretty quickly if someone has limited internet transfer. So I changed it, and it fetches all data only once, and then it only gets new pixels. It fixed the transfer problems. But why did I even start this project? Because you can take part in it. Yeah, no joke. After uploading this video, this event will run for 7 days. In the description I left a link to a tutorial on how to set up everything. And if you want to try to gather a group of people to make something cool, check my Discord. It's new, by the way. Other than that, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, then subscribe, I guess. Like would also be appreciated. That's it. Bye.